Okay, cool. So we got Swindle here. Don't know if you lot know. Make some noise for Swindle.
I'm a producer from London, and I make grime and dubstep and funky and soul and jazz and funk and just everything really.
If there's one track of yours that we could play everyone that sums up Swindle, what's it going to be?
Air Miles, maybe.
Air Miles,
yeah.
Okay. When's the first time you made music? Who got you into it? Why did you get into it?
It was probably my family, like my dad and my brother.
Yeah.
Was like heavily into music. My dad plays guitar, like jazz guitar, with a band, kind of on and off, always has done as I was growing up. And then I think when I was about 13 or 12, my brother got like a sequencer, and we put it on a PC, and then that was it. Just kind of started using it from there, and then stayed with it. New software came out, started using new software. Started playing a bit with the keyboard, etc.
So this is your older brother, yeah?
Yeah.
When you were like younger and getting into music, like, what do you think? Did you hear like certain tracks, or were there certain artists that you were like, yeah, I want to do what they're doing?
Yeah, I used to like a lot of West Coast hip hop.
Okay.
And then I used to get told off because obviously West Coast hip hop was just bitches and like, talking.
But your mum wasn't happy, right?
Yeah, no. And then my dad was like, why don't you listen to this? And he showed me a record that the hip hop tune sampled, and then I just like proper got deep into that. So I started listening to a lot of George Clinton and Herbie Hancock, a lot of old classics.
Yeah.
And then just decided that was me really.
So did you have any sort of like professional music training, like with keys or anything? Because to me, like, you're a musical producer.
Right.
Even though like you can make something like Air Miles, which is obviously like kind of really upfront, but there's musical elements in it, and then a lot of your stuff is a lot more musical.
Yeah. Look, the keyboard, we had like basic lessons from the guy who played in my dad's band when we was kids.
Okay.
Didn't learn how to read music in those lessons, and then when I got older I tried to do classical piano, but it was really boring.
Yeah.
I think I got to about grade 2,
Yeah.
and I was just kind of sick of it. It's too robotic.
Yeah.
You have to read this and you have to do it like that. I just want to have fun with it, you know what I mean? So I've always had a keyboard. I don't think there's a day that I don't touch a keyboard. So I just got to know it that way.
So you literally like have kind of, from there on, just taught yourself?
I just make it up as I go along. People fall for it.
That is such a lie. I've never seen anyone play the keyboard like you, so...
That's pressure.
You can show us later, innit?
Yeah.
He's gonna make a beat for us live later, so I'm putting him on the spot.
I'm gonna try.
No, it's gonna be good. So, okay, who was the first artist you worked with?
Guy called Sedman from my ends.
Okay. And how did you kind of go about meeting artists and getting your music into the right hands of the right people?
Like at first, I just made music with my pals.
Yeah.
I had a bunk bed and we hung a mic from like, the metal bit.
Oh wow.
And that's how we recorded it for a long time. And then, what happened? I bumped into Nike from Nicky S and Nike.
Oh yeah.
And then he just kind of brought me and showed me a studio. I've literally been using that same studio, or the same engineer, whatever,
Yeah.
for the last like 5, 6, 7 years maybe.
So how did you kind of go about getting your music out there? Because like for me, it was at the time a MySpace kind of thing. Was it the same for you? Like how long have you been making music?
Forever.
How long has it
like
been
ages.
in the public domain?
Like even before MySpace, it was
Yeah.
just out on the high street with CDs for a $5.
Oh, what, yourself?
Yeah, I was one of them ones.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
when you walk in somewhere and some bugger stops you and asks you if you like hip hop.
Yeah.
I've done that for a long time. Just word of mouth, man. Just carrying on making enough music, someone's gonna hear it, right?
So what's the first track that you actually put out and kind of felt like, yeah, like this is getting somewhere? Like kind of your first break track, what was that?
A track called With You, with Ashley Waters and Mutia.
What happened after that track?
After that, like I parted from that situation. Went on to do my own thing, lived life for a bit, moved a couple of times, and then really jumped back on board fully maybe this year. I mean, I was always making music, doing like mixtape work, bits floating on people's albums, people like Chipmunk and Professor Gree, Roldy, and then started getting back into releasing my own stuff this year. Started with a funk EP called Who Said Funk, and then the Air Miles EP, which is the one we just heard.
Okay, cool. Should we play something off the Who Said Funk EP?
Let's do it. This is called No More, featuring Nadia Solomon, who's here today, and she's here.
What is it you want from me? 'Cause I don't seem to know. You've been stressing out my head. Where you do? Where you do? And don't come with your Maggie. Ooh, try to get in my mind. I wanna entertain. Y'all silly gang. Y'all silly gang.
So who put that out? You?
Yeah.
You put it out yourself, totally funded and stuff.
100%, yeah.
And did you find that hard putting it out yourself?
Yeah.
Think about it for a minute.
Yeah. It's difficult, but you don't realise that it's difficult because you just kind of do it.
Yeah.
It's like if you just
do
really,
it for the love of it.
yeah, if you really want to do something, you just find a way to make it go out. Only looking back on it, you think, it's difficult.
Yeah.
But,
Get through it. It's kind of fun. It's like a fun, difficult to put stuff out yourself, I think.
yeah, I think you need it to be quite difficult to be driven.
Yeah.
Like if you feel like you've got obstacles, then you just want to go harder.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think so. So, you've been putting stuff out with Planet Moo recently,
Yeah.
which is kind of like an experimental underground electronic sort of label.
Yeah.
So how did they find out about you? How did that kind of go about?
They put out a Terror Danger record and I did a remix on it.
Okay.
Simply on. And then they just hit me up on Facebook. They wanted to put out another record and then Air Miles started doing alright and then they just put out that.
Oh, so they changed their minds about which track they want.
Yeah, they do that. They're just like, yeah.
As long as they put something
They just want to
out.
put out the best one always.
Funny that,
Yeah.
like, kind of makes sense. Okay, so when you're making music, how long did it kind of take for you to feel happy with your music about showing it to other people? Because I know, like, when I was making music, I didn't want anyone to hear it for like about 2 years. I just didn't show anyone anything.
My problem is I just can't wait to show anyone.
You're like overly confident.
Yeah, not even confident. I just wanna show someone. Like I'll be making a tune and I'll go on iChat and see who's online and video call it.
Whoever's first on.
I'm
like,
that one, or I'll
get
just like I'll ring another producer or something. I'll put some music. I'll ring and say, listen to this. You know what I mean? I will. If you're a friend of mine and you do music also, I'll bug you to listen to stuff.
What, even like unfinished? Whatever,
man.
just get ideas.
While I'm making it, I could think of 4 chords and then just ring someone and say, do you want to write a song to this?
Da-da.
Yeah, I do that to Nadia all the time.
Yeah.
I'll ring her, she doesn't pick up the phone, I'll leave a beat on her voicemail.
Yeah.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
I was going to say that. He's done.
Yeah. And David on the iChat, he's fallen victim to me a couple times.
How do you kind of find it, like being a musician, I think a lot of us would probably agree, that people kind of, if you're out there putting music out, people automatically think, oh, he's got loads of money, he's doing gigs all the time, like he's doesn't need to do anything. It is a bit of a struggle, right? And we've kind of talked about this before.
Yeah, it can be. Like there's times where you can just be so broken as you just think to yourself, I might as well just go work. And like, I've worked jobs since I was 16, I've kind of worked jobs. It's only now that I've quit work and all the rest of it. And there is a period where it's going to be definitely really difficult. And then when girls are ringing your phone and saying, oh, you're doing your thing now, gets you a bit pissed off because you think, you know what I mean?
What, you think what?
Well, why is everyone talking to you like you got loads of dough and then
right.
that you don't realise you actually spent all your money on the release?
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
And you're not going to make any money for another 6 months.
Yeah.
In fact, you don't even know what you're going to make because you don't know what you sold. Or
Yeah.
So.
Have you ever kind of got to that point where you're just like, oh, music's too hard, I'm just going to go get a normal job?
Yeah, it lasted about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm quitting music. I'm going to make a beat to cheer myself up. And I made the tune. I was like, yeah, this is a banger.
Your beats don't have names.
No.
They have numbers.
Yeah, I numbered them.
Right? And when I was at your house, you were at 670 something.
Yeah.
And when did you start the numbers?
But I've got this map about, I don't know, halfway through last year maybe.
So that's over 600 beats in a year.
I'm on 780 today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Jealous. I'm on like
When I'm on
8.
1,000, I'm going to get a new map.
Okay. So why don't you give them names?
You can't come up with 780 names.
Yeah, you can.
And then how do you find them?
Just look at whatever's next to you. Like,
No, but say you know, I send Nad to beat, and then I'll be like, she might bring me, alright, cool, I've just written to beat 385. Like, cool, let's go. Go to 385, bounce down the parts, go to studio. I can't do it if it's like, this beat is called Dementia. You know what I mean? Like, I'll get lost and I won't remember what's what.
You seem to have gone from like no one really kind of knowing who you were, to suddenly being like up here within a matter of like months. And I said, how did you kind of manage to do that? And you said something like, you decided that this year was going to be your year.
Yeah.
And what did you do?
I put out 2 EPs before like 6 months had gone through the year. By the time the year ends, I would have done 3 releases independent. And that's just the only way to do it.
So you just kind of decided like, I'm going to do it this year, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to do it.
Because if I don't, then I may as well just find something else to do with life. And I'm 23, so I've only got so much time to pick a career,
so
right?
old.
Nah, but you've got to start something now, innit? Between 20 and 30, you better pick what you're doing and get good at it.
Do you think that, do you look at like 30 and be like, shit, I've got to get this stuff done before I'm 30?
I think with music, like, it's timeless. If Quincy Jones made Thriller album when he was 40 years old, and he was always doing music from before that, even when he was in his teens or whatever. So it's like, there's no real time limit on when you can do it. But if you live in London, mate, you need to start earning money from now.
Yeah, don't we all know it?
Yeah.
So, okay, let's change it up a little bit. Artist-wise, who are you feeling?
Timothy.
Oh yeah, well Sam's a producer, isn't it? Big up Sam in the corner over there, everyone.
Feeling all the producers just like doing their own thing at the moment. Like Sarah Dangers, and
What's next?
Next is kind of just bringing the Who Said Funk sound and the Air Miles sound into something you can digest in one. So it might be like dubstep drums with a grind bass and some real smooth chords, or just all the things you wouldn't expect on one track to be on one track. Loads
You're
of
going to
weird
work on an
collabs.
album, yeah?
Yeah.
And the album's going to have vocals on it. Is it going to be instrumentals as well?
Probably
Just
bit
everything?
both. Some tracks that are like part instrumental, part vocal. What I'm just looking at is that just no rules. If I say I'm going to do a vocal album, then it all gets a bit 16 bars and then 8 chorus. Whereas if I just make music and if I want to work with someone, call me and just get it done, then I'll make something better on it.